We've all been there, or at least we dread being there. You're driving along and you hear that sound, the one that tells you your car is just given up. You're stranded, and that little bit of panic starts to creep in. But what if you had a playbook for this exact moment? Well, that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to give you the step-by-step guide to turn that panic into power.
So there you are, on the side of the road, hazards blinking, cars just flying past. And in that moment, with your mind just racing, there's always one question that screams louder than anything else.
Yep, you guessed it. How much is this going to cost me? Forget all the vague answers and the guesswork. Let's just jump right into the numbers so you know exactly what to expect.
All right, first things first, let's pull apart that towing bill piece by piece. We're going to break down what actually goes into that final price so you'll know exactly what you're paying for.
Okay, so let's throw a number out there to start. For a pretty standard breakdown, you're probably looking at a starting price of around $150. That'll usually get you the first 10 kilometers or so. But here's the thing, that is just the starting point.
So yeah, that initial price, it can go up, and fast. Once you're past those first 10 kilometers, you start paying by the kilometer, usually around $3 to $4. The kind of vehicle you have matters too. A big, heavy SUV or 4WD is going to cost more. And, calling it 3 in the morning on a holiday? Oh yeah, you're going to see an after-hours fee tacked on for sure.
But what if you're in an accident? Well, that's a whole different ballgame. The rules change completely. In a city like Melbourne, the industry is super regulated. For a standard car, the initial towing fee is legally capped at a very specific amount, $272.80.
And just look at this table. It shows you how much your location really matters. Take a look at Melbourne. That initial fee only covers the first 8 kilometers. Now compare that to Brisbane, where a much higher fee gets you the first 50 kilometers. And check out the per kilometer rate in Sydney. It's way higher than Melbourne's. The key thing to know, though, is that some cities like Adelaide and Darwin have no caps at all, which honestly makes getting that upfront quote absolutely non-negotiable.
An accident scene is chaotic, right? It's stressful, it's confusing, and that's precisely why there are super strict rules in place to protect you. Knowing what your rights are is everything when it comes to staying in control.
And this right here, this is absolutely critical. It's called the authority to tow, and it is a legally required contract. Your car literally cannot be moved until you have signed this thing. The whole point is to stop someone from taking advantage of you when you're shaken up and vulnerable.
So in a lot of regulated places, like in Victoria, for example, there's a very clear 4-step process. First, the driver has to give you a leaflet that explains your rights. Second, you have to read and sign the completed authority to tow form. Third, and this is a big one, you decide where your car goes. And fourth, you only pay the legally set fee. No matter where you live, these are the principles that put you back in the driver's seat, so to speak.
And I really want you to let this sink in. You do not have to go with the first tow truck that shows up. You have the right to choose. All these rules exist for one reason, to stop anyone from pressuring you when you're at your most vulnerable after a crash.
Okay, so let's shift gears a bit, because, your car doesn't always break down on a perfect, flat, easy-to-reach road, right? Sometimes it's stuck somewhere it really shouldn't be, and that calls for a completely different kind of service. Yeah, we are talking about 2 completely different things here. A standard tow, that's one world, but a vehicle recovery, that's a whole other universe. If your car is off-road, stuck in a ditch, or worse, overturned, you don't just need a tow truck. You need a specialist with heavy-duty gear like winches and cranes to get it out of there safely.
And it's not just the situation, it's also the vehicle. Motorcycles are the perfect example. They can tip over so easily and have all these exposed parts. A real pro is going to use soft straps, not some clunky old chains that'll scratch up your chrome and paint. Same goes for luxury cars, vehicles that are badly damaged, or even heavy machinery. They all need specialized equipment, usually a flatbed truck, to make sure they get moved without any more damage.
Okay, so there you are, stuck, stressed out. You whip out your phone, and now what? Who on earth do you call? With so many companies to choose from, how do you find one you can actually trust, especially when you're under pressure?
Look, to make it easy and cut through all the noise, you just need 4 simple questions. Think of this as your power move. Number 1, can you actually handle my car and my specific situation? Number 2, are you fully insured? Number 3, can you give me a clear quote right now over the phone? And number 4, are you available 24/7? Because at the end of the day, it's not just about moving a piece of metal from point A to point B.
It's about clear communication. It's about professionalism. It's about that peace of mind you get when you know you're in good hands.
All right, let's bring this all home. We're going to wrap everything we've talked about into one super practical, easy-to-use checklist. This is the thing that's going to make you feel totally confident if you ever find yourself in this spot. This is how you go from powerless to empowered.
Okay, here it is, your pro checklist. Simple, but powerful. Before you even dial that number, have this stuff ready. Your exact location, your car's make and model, and where you want it towed to. Then, when you're on the phone, you hit them with these two crucial questions. Are you insured, and can you give me a clear quote right now? Trust me, this will save you so much time and so much stress.
You know, after all the numbers and the regulations and the checklists, it really just comes down to one thing: trust. You now have the knowledge to turn what feels like a total disaster into just an inconvenience. You know what to do, you know what to ask, and you know what to look for. So the only question that's left is, when you're stuck on the side of that road, who are you going to trust with your keys?